I've suggested previously that Psalms 120 through 134 are somewhat like the journey of the Christian life. I notice a few interesting characteristics of Psalm 124. First of all, look at how it is spoken in terms of the corporate nature, that is, we, us, our. The word our or the word us is spoken of several different times in this psalm, almost in each statement that is expressed. And it is as if the writer, in this case, it's attributed to be David, is speaking for his people on behalf of his people, and his people are indeed joining him. And the people, together with David in this situation, look back at their experience from the perspective of having arrived, at least temporarily, in their new situation. And so David and his people are marveling at the fact that how God has been with them the entire journey. And if it were not for God's protection, guidance, direction, instruction, and faithfulness, they would not be where they would presently be. The final statement of praise is at the end of this psalm. And you might wonder what situation exactly that the people are referring to, but a couple of different possibilities. Number one, at the end of Psalm 124, you can see that the writer, whether it's David or another, is referring to contempt from the proud, the arrogant. In other words, some of their attacks were probably verbally. 120 refers to the frustration that the writer or the people have experienced, probably in the land of exile, where they lived among a people who hated peace and spoke of and even sought war. So they might even be referring to the time that they were deported to the land of exile. But in any case, they are at that point expressing a desire to leave that situation in which people hated them, whether verbally, physically, or otherwise. Another aspect, Psalm 121, after expressing that frustration, speaks of the writers or the people's experience in calling out to God. They recognize him as the Lord, the one who made the heavens and the earth, that is the universe, that is God, the creator. And at the end of Psalm 124, David and the people speak of their help coming from this Lord, that is the God of creation, the Lord who made the heavens and the earth. This is the covenant Lord that has called them to be his people. And so the people together are reflecting on how God has been with them the entire journey, and that calls forth their praise. And so I ask you, what situation are you now facing, or have you recently faced, in which you felt such pressure? Whether that pressure was verbal or physical attack, perhaps even some other kind of situation, and you totally felt stressed out and just didn't know where to go or what to do. Two things. I encourage you to call out to the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, because as this psalm expresses, he is interested in you and the circumstances you are facing. Also, another point, as you reflect upon what God has done or is doing in your life, do you realize that you are but part of a larger picture? Those of us who have placed our faith in Jesus Christ sometimes can look at our expressions of faith, our commitment to follow Christ, so individually that we forget that we are but part of a larger body, a bigger picture in history in which God has called us to be a part of his family, a part of the group that he has called, as recorded in the history of the Old Testament, to be a light to the entire world so that we could be a part of the family of God. A situation recorded in Matthew 8, and you might also see a similar situation, if not the same one, recorded in either Mark 4 and 6 and John 6, records how the disciples would have drowned or been swept away by raging waters if Jesus had not been there. And Jesus teaches them that it is through faith that he will and would have kept them safe. Ephesians chapter 2 shows us how we Gentiles, who did not have any opportunity to come to know Jesus Christ unless Christ had provided the means for us to do so, are now joined in with the people that he has called, that is, God has called, to be his worshiping and witnessing community. And so it points to this corporate nature of all of us who know Christ Jesus are in this act or in this situation together. So as you look back upon experiences, or as you are experiencing difficult times now, or even as you look forward to what we as believers in Jesus Christ will experience, do you see yourself as part of that bigger picture? For all of us who know Jesus Christ, we can now say that together God has delivered us. Yet at the same time, this psalm points us forward to a time of complete and future restoration in which we will be able, in complete perfection, be able to reflect on such psalms as this, to recognize that if indeed the Lord had not been on our side, we would have been swept away.